Hello, I'm Gorethorium from House of Gorethorium, and I'm here today in the Heart of the Mist to showcase my Vampire Necromancer build. This is the Necro build I used in my previous PvP video, and I also have it posted on GuildWars2Builds.com. I'm going to start by showing off my power on this golem over here, so you can get an idea of the kind of damage this build truly can pump out. Did that guy just cloak me? Okay, so let's take a look at traits. I've put 30 points in Spite, which gives me 300 power and 30% condition duration. Now this is good because your condition duration makes your vulnerability last longer. And your vulnerability is a big part of why this build hits so hard and why it works. And under the Spite tree I've used number 2 in the Adept slot, Spiteful Talisman. Focus skills recharge 20% faster and have increased range. This means that you have extra range on both Reaper's Touch and Spinal Shivers, and it also means that they recharge faster for you. Now in my Master slot I've used the 5th trait, which is Spiteful Spirit. Gain retaliation for 3 seconds when entering Death Shroud. What this allows you to do is use Death Shroud defensively against, say, a 100 Blades Warrior, or a Thief that just uncloaked to spike you, and you can go in Death Shroud and just soak their damage up and put it back onto them. Now the real reason to put 30 points in the Spite beyond the power and condition bonus is your Grandmaster slot, your number 12 skill, which is Close to Death, which increases your damage by 20% to enemies below 50% health. This gives you the power you need to finish your opponents off, to go into multiple people fighting. If they're below 50% health, you automatically get that, and to save your teammates who are about to be downed. It's really a big part of this build to know that you have that damage coming to you, and 20% is a very significant amount of damage to gain. So for our next trait line, we put 25 points in Curses. This grants us 250 increased precision, as well as 250 increased condition damage. The condition damage does not matter too much, because we don't deal a lot of damaging conditions. However, crit chances can cause bleeding, so I mean, that's a plus, I'd take it. For our Adept slot, we use the number 5 skill, 33% chance to gain 1% of life force on critical hits. This is great if you need a GTFO button, so you've always got life force to fall back on. For the Master slot, I chose number 10, Spectral Attunement, because both Spectral Grasp and Spectral Walls now grant life force as well for that. I put 25 really in this one, mainly for Target the Weak, 2% increased damage for each condition on a foe, as well as the extra 50 points in precision. For my last trait line, I chose Blood Magic. I put 15 points here, which gives me 150 vitality and 150 healing power. This trait line is what really gives my build the name Vampire, because the traits inside of it allow me to gain health every single time I hit my opponent. Let's go into traits. Full of Life, 5-second regeneration when your opponents start hitting you. When your health reaches 90%, you get your 5 seconds of regeneration. This allows you to heal, and this is also improved by your healing power. Then I chose for my Adept trait slot the number 5 skill, Vampire Precision. I steal health from my opponent every time I critical hit. But I went and added the extra 5 points, not just for the extra health, but also for the next minor skill, Vampiric Alone, which siphons health every time you hit a foe, which just means you siphon more health when you crit. So this is the backbone behind my Vampire build, and exactly how I stay alive, how I maintain my health, and how I steal health from opponents every single time I lay into them with an attack. Now let's look at stats and gear. For power I have 2,139 points, which leads me to an attack of 3,071. I have 1,975 precision, which gives me a 54% crit chance, which is more than high enough to be critting the majority of the time, which is what's really important. As your crits reset every single strike, you don't really want to stack your crit up to 100, and I found that 54 is more than enough to execute this build in a very effective manner, and I've tried several things to change my crit, and I've just found that this number gives me the most effectiveness. 23,162 health, which is pretty high for a Necro, 250 condition damage, 30% condition duration, 257 healing power, and 26% additional critical damage. So now let's take a look at my gear choices and why I did it. Obviously the first thing I'm going to want is a PvP Berserker's Amulet with the Berserker's Jewel. This is going to increase my precision, my crit damage, my power, and my vitality, all things that are essential to this build. After getting my amulet out of the way, I chose my runes. I've tried several different runes, but I chose the superior rune of the eagle for 3 reasons. Number 1, I needed to get my precision up. When it came time to rune, my crit chance was not high enough to satisfy the fact that this build relies heavily on dealing crit damage. So its primary buffer is crit. And as a secondary buffer, I looked through all of them and I really want to do more damage with this build. So I chose the critical damage. But on top of that, the number 6 slot made me want to use this because there aren't a lot of things that make you want to use the number 6 slot. Sometimes you may throw in extra precision or extra something else. 5% damage versus a target with less than 50% health is great, especially when you consider that gets combined with my already plus 20%. So it comes out to plus 25% damage versus targets with less than 50% health, which is pretty heavy. You do not want to be coming at me if you have low health. For my weapon, I chose the, I have a Coding Dagger of Rage, 10% chance on critical to gain quickness. In the beginning of the video, I got quickness on my last hit versus the golem. Or if you look at my other video of live gameplay against that golem, I hit it pretty easily in the beginning, and I had it several times throughout the video versus live players. It actually procs more often than you would think. For my offhand, I have a Spawnier Focus of Accuracy. That 5% crit chance is not included up here, so realistically I have a 59% crit chance, but this does not actually show up here. On top of that, I got a PvP Nightmare Axe of Accuracy. If you watch my PvP video, I really only ever use this if someone is running away and I cannot catch them. Then I do damage to finish them off from range, like the Elementalist I was 1v1ing earlier. It wasn't really an 1v1, whatever. And then I have a Warhorn in the offhand, which I will use heavily to switch to real quick, blow the horn. If somebody's trying to down one of my friends, I'll stun them with the Warhorn, but most commonly I just use it running from point to point to get the speed up boost. Other than that, I almost never use my secondary set of weapons. So before I show you this build in action, I'm going to let you guys in on my keybinds. Personally, I have A and D instead of turn left and turn right as strafe left and strafe right. That's personal preference. Swap weapons is Z, which it's normally the key next to the 1. That is my record key on my fraps, so that's really something I change back when I'm not recording. That's not a big deal. Weapon skills are the same, but my healing skill is Q. And the reason for this is because I'm using W, A, S, and D to move. And if I need to hit a heal really quick, it's right there. On the other side of the spectrum, my third utility is E, which is Corrupt Boon. I use Corrupt Boon as my E because you're really only going to use it situationally. It's not something you need to do to set up your attacks. So it's something that it's there, it's quick, it's accessible, and I can hit it when someone like a Guardian pops Save Yourself, or someone uses their Elite, which pops every boon. You know, it's just very convenient. For my Utility 1 and 2, Utility 1 is Spectral Wall, Utility 2 is Spectral Grasp. I have them on my right and left mouse button. My left mouse button is Spectral Wall, my right mouse button is Spectral Grasp. That way when I want to attack a target, I left mouse button, right mouse button, pull them. These guys don't move very much anymore, which they changed intentionally. So there's my keybinds for that. So I've got one more specific keybind that I think helps, which is mouse 3 for my Elite. Now my Elite is Summon Golem. This is for the utility control he gives me. And when I press the center button when he's summoned, he charges my target and knocks them down. So that's just a very good utility to have on your mouse, because you can use it really quick at any time you need. That's all this is about, is making the process streamlined to use your attacks and making it easier to hit your targets. Ooh look, quickness. So first we need to set up our attacks. First thing you're going to want to do is put down your Spectral Wall and pull your opponent through it. This will give him 10 vulnerability, plus Chill to slow his movement. Then you're going to throw Reaper's Touch at him, which gives him 22 vulnerability, which effectively messes his armor up so bad that it does not have any factor in fighting him. It allows you to do so much more damage to him, which is a big part of this build, that you're putting that much damage on your target. A lot of what your build is about is utilities and controlling your target. You have a pull, you have a knockdown, you you have a number 3 Dark Pack, which is great. Not only that, but if you'll notice, my Golem just took down more than one target at a time, which is good for controlling multiple targets. Now, this particular build is good in fighting more than one target at a time. As long as you can control all of your targets, you have no issue. It's really all about positioning with this build. Controlling your target and not letting them move. Pulling them to you, keeping them there, getting the fight on. These guys automatically teleport back, they change that, players don't do that, it's not a problem. With the massive amount of damage you're putting out, controlling your target and movement is key. You'll notice in my PvP video that I'm always circling my opponent to mitigate their damage on me. If they start hitting me too hard, that's when I pop my F1, go into Death Shroud, and I have all of this buffer right here for them to hit me as hard as they want, plus I gain retaliation when I do that. So, the core principles of this build is getting your targets in front of you and not letting them run away. You have chill, you have 2 chills actually. You have pulls, you have a wall to increase vulnerability. This vulnerability wall also gives you protection. This vulnerability also gives you regeneration. So just at the beginning of the fight, you're taking 33% less damage and already regenerating health. Plus when you go below 90% health, you regenerate more. Plus every time you hit, you gain health. So this build really is a catch-22. I will beat the crap out of you, and I will heal while doing it, without even blowing my big heal into conditions, which renders condition builds completely inept against you, because you love conditions. Give me conditions. Every condition you have on me, I get 750 heals, and it can be stripped instantly. Now, my personal favorite thing to do is play Bunker Guardians. Everybody hates Bunker Guardians. You cannot kill them. Bunker Guardians, Ellies. Using their boons. Corrupt Boon throws every condition on them. A condition for every boon they have, and normally they have all boons up. So that makes this build particularly deadly at roaming and countering the bunkers, which is very important, because if you've got a bunker down in this situation, you don't need your whole team to come remove that situation. This fit is perfect for that. This fit's perfect for roaming and dealing damage. This fit for point defense, however, if they're trying to throw their team at your point, is not the greatest unless you have teammates at your point with you who can soak up the brunt and you just come in and kill everything. So this really is a kind of build where you do not want to be sitting on points very long. Now going back to control, because I realized I forgot something, your Flesh Golem will actually cause cripple every time he attacks as well, hindering your opponent's movement by 50%. And if your opponent is running, I don't automatically switch to this and attack him. There's another thing you can do, which is called Life Siphon, which increases your life force and steals even more of your opponent's health for you. That's your dagger number 2 skill, siphon health from your foe. If you watch my video, you'll see me use that a lot, and that hits for a pretty big chunk of their health to begin with. So, you have all of this utility at your availability. You have all of this amount to heal without using your heals. You do so much damage, it's not fun. You just really need to be good at dodging, juking your foes, and knowing your targets. That's my Vampire Necromancer build. I use this on a regular basis, and I'd like to share it with the world. I've got a Harlem Shake video coming up actually. My server's going to find some big defense that we're doing and pull a Harlem Shake off just to mess with our opponents. So I'll be recording that, it'll be fun. Stay tuned and subscribe, because I'm going to have some funny videos coming out, some more PvP videos coming out, and probably some informative videos coming up on patches, fun stuff like that. I do everything for fun. If you want to see me do something, go ahead. I'm not going to set deadlines for a video to come out. I'm just here to enjoy the game, and so should you. So, enjoy your game, and I'll see you when I come out with my next video.